Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's conversation. We are live again. Yay!
Yeah,
Welcome to an amazing conversation.
yeah, it's good to be here once more.
Yes, indeed. I want to welcome you. If you are new on our channel and this is your first time of joining this conversation, I want to bid you a warm welcome. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
And together we co-host on Relationship Builders Forum. And this is a forum where we care so much about talking about relationship, marriage issues, everything, in between. So I want to bid you all welcome today. And to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you join the conversation. Now, if you're new, we want to encourage you to kindly hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. And today we will just dive right in, isn't
Yes,
it?
definitely.
Yes.
The conversation we want to engage in today is this thing around technology. Technology and your relationship. We want to look at how technology can impact on your relationship. It could be positive impact, it could be negative impact, depending on how you manage it. And when we are talking about technology, it might sound a bit broad, but we want to narrow it down to one of the key areas that people,
Tend to
engage in. You have a social media platform, you have communication skills that you want to express. How do you do that? You use your phone. So we want to use phone as an example of this conversation. How does it impact on your relationship?
I think the phone is not really the problem because, like you said, the phone is a tool. However, there are certain things that we do with our devices that could actually take away from the quality of our relationship rather than adding to it.
Maybe we can start by looking at how technology can impact on our relationship positively. For instance,
positively,
let's start from there because obviously is a good thing, isn't it?
It's amazing tool. Well, and we know that we live in an age where with the trend, with the changes in the world generally, we cannot do without technology. Technology basically is happening to all of us, right? And I mean, think about what we're doing now. Without technology, we wouldn't do what we're doing. You wouldn't be live on this platform listening to myself and Gospel, talk to you. So that's one of the good things. This is wonderful. This is amazing tool. And it's useful in terms of communicating our values and what we are, our vision to our audience. So technology helps us to do that. It enables us to do that.
You're right. From a general standpoint, technology is really, really important. So if you look at phone, for instance, I can't even log into my work laptop without my phone.
Absolutely.
Everything is all integrated. So you need your phone for your bank account. You need your phone to do the normal work that you do as a person.
Texting.
Everything is
emails,
linked to your phone. Exactly.
Even messaging, iMessaging. Think about social media apps. They're all on the dial, our phone. So it is such a small device, but really powerful.
Definitely. So, but when we look at it in terms of relationship, you can see that it's really, really important. It's something that can enhance your relationship. When you're not together with your spouse or your partner or someone you're very close to, you have an opportunity to interact with the person.
Absolutely.
You have an opportunity to send a message. You have opportunity to keep in touch. When we were courting, it wasn't as it is now.
Well, then it was even more challenging because we had to. I know you had to go to a cyber cafe at a certain time, and we needed to have our timings right and synchronize our timings so that the other person is not online waiting for the other person to join in. So I mean, technology has advanced. I mean, since that time, there were times where it had to be, you had to wait on the other side of a landline, literally like a land phone, not a mobile phone. So I can understand, I can relate, and I would say people who are millennials right now may not quite understand the challenges at the time in terms of relationship and how that, especially for distance relationship,
definitely,
it was really challenging to to keep in touch with your significant other, and it was, there were days of pen pals, I'm just thinking about it. There were days of pen pals and people had pen pals in different parts of the world, and and technology has since advanced, and now we can actually find our friends. We can have WhatsApp groups. We can have, Snapchats and TikToks and, Instagram and all of that.
And YouTube.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing to have all of that. And I would say that, I loved those moments where we had to, be on the phone and talk, and that sort of, added value to our relationship. It did. Especially when we were miles and miles and miles apart.
Exactly. So we've come a long way. That's the summary of everything we've said.
Yes.
We've come a long way in terms of what is working for people in relationship at the moment. Now at a fingertip, you can just snap your finger and you get things moving and all of those. It should be a positive thing. It should be a wonderful thing. But the other thing is that technology could also be a negative thing.
Yes.
Becomes a problem when it takes more priority, or when it's not used appropriately. Some people are so glued to their phones. They sleep with their phone. They wake up with their phone. And they place more priority to their
phones. Yes. I would say yes. I know. Just thinking now, I know a couple of friends who are sort of guilty of this. They depend on their phone for everything. Like, you take away their phone, you've taken away their life. Literally, that's what they tell you. Like, I can't do without my phone. And I think it's just, understanding the boundaries, and I think it's just it's a great tool, but when it becomes excessive, that's where it begins to take away from your relationship. And I've seen instances where this could be really, really damaging. And I think that's what this whole conversation is about. We want to sort of bring to fore the impact of technology and how this could, enhance our relationship if we allow it, and how it can possibly, destroy or, damage our relationship if we let it.
So one of the things you need to do when you understand technology as a good thing, you have to bring the balance. And bringing the balance, like you said, has to do with setting boundaries. Do we use our phones when we are having dinner? You just set boundaries that are workable within, set boundaries that work for you in your marriage.
Absolutely.
Because obviously there are things that your spouse may not be happy about in terms of how you use your technology. There are some men, let me not say men, some people would so glue to their phones that they play games on their phone. I used to be guilty of that some time ago. I used to play FIFA on my iPad, and it was taking a whole lot of my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I had to stop, because obviously if you're doing all of those, you wouldn't really have enough time for your spouse. And your spouse is seeking your attention. You need to stop what you're doing and have me time, or that close conversation with your spouse.
Deep conversation.
But that technology is taking away your time. Technology may be TV. You like football. You watch it morning, afternoon. You're always glued to your TV watching football.
Yeah.
That has become a problem.
And, I know you're talking about the men, but, sometimes we women are also guilty. There could be, soaps that we are used to. I cannot miss this soap. I have to watch it at a certain time, which is great. It's great to have, all of those sort of, things that you sort of used to have a downtime and all of that. But when it takes over, that's where the problem is. And like you said, it's about setting boundaries. It's about, understanding and having that agreement as as a couple, or to understand where do we draw the line, creating activities, and trying to design those activities to set time in place to say, what, from this time to this time, we're not going to use our phones. We're not going to be, this is off phone, or off social media, or off whatever it is. And you set those sort of boundaries, you understand. I mean, some people even sleep off with their phones. And I don't understand, how that could happen, because, that's in itself is a massive sign of a lack of intimacy, in your relationship. And maybe that's something to really have a conversation over, because where you begin to allow yourself, where social media is the escape, where your phone or your technology is the escape, and that takes over, your time or you being present in that relationship. And I think that's in itself is really important.
Definitely.
One of the things I would want to state, because it's one thing for us to talk about setting boundaries, but you've not had communications around it. And that sort of brings us today to the second point around, communicating openly about these things, talk about these things. And first of all, what are we doing? How counterproductive is whatever activity it is, and, sometimes when you speak to people, they say, it's important to me, that's why I'm on my phone. It's important to me. And I'm not disregarding, I'm not taking away from the fact that whatever activity that you engage in with your device is important. But you also need to think about how important is that relationship to you. And if whatever activity that you're engaged in is big enough to take away from what you share.
Yeah, that's a key point there. You need to communicate. Even if the other partner or your partner is not clear in terms of what's going on, you need to communicate. You need to let them know that, oh, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Maybe there is this important email I'm sending using my phone, so they don't assume.
Yeah.
And for the person also thinking, what's going on? Why is she always on her phone? Why is she hiding something? Don't make that assumption. It's also good to have a sit-down conversation to say, hey, I don't really like how much time you spend on your phone.
Yeah.
Can we put a kind of boundary around it? Can we talk? Let's understand how we feel around these things. Because if you don't say anything and just think, okay, she or he or she wants to be with her phone, not just phone, maybe spending more time with technology, you're not saying anything, they may not even know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I just want to make a point here that it is important for you to be honest and be open about the conversation. Because if you say, this is what I'm doing with my phone, I mean, it is important that it is actually what you're doing with your phone, and you don't leave it to wild guess of the other party, wondering what, like you said, what it could be. And in as much as I'm not quite a fan of someone snooping, I know that their relationship, where the dynamics of that relationship, it's not open, right? And, some people feel whatever I do with my phone is my business. You have no right to be on my phone. You have no right looking on my phone and things like that. But you are in a relationship. And I say, if you can trust the other party enough to share your bed with them, enough to be intimate with them, then
you should be
open enough to share whatever it is on that device, because that device cannot come in between the both of you.
Yeah.
And I think it's really, really important to talk about that. So having that open conversation is key. It's key. And like I say, if you have that conversation, one of the things that technology does in any relationship is that it enhances relationship.
So the next point we want to look at is how you can use technology
to enhance
your relationship. So I think in this instance, you have to be deliberate.
Yes.
You have to be intentional about using technology to enhance your relationship. You have to think about, am I sending any message to her today?
Yeah.
How can I, deliberately construct something so wonderful that when I put it out there or send it to her, she will be touched.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
You know the thing. Let me just cut you in. Yes. I'm so sorry, but you can be creative. Yes. You can actually be creative with the use of technology. Maybe you're the texting type. Like, try for a moment. I know some men find this a bit goofy, right? But I'm a fan of voice notes. I'm seriously a fan, and I'm a fan of what's it called, memojis. So memojis with the hair and all of that, and you're like making all those funny weird sounds and all of that, and it's just, it's fun. It's really exciting. And you just imagine my husband playing an emoji of me just goofing around at work. He's like, whoa, what's happening? No one is listening to this. And it kind of brings the fun. It brings the spark into your relationship.
Definitely.
There's so many things people can do these days. There's so many filters that people use, and why not use that in your relationship to enhance your relationship? And it's amazing to see how you can just put a smile on somebody's face just by goofing around,
goofing around. This is not being prescriptive, but the point is, what you can do. Have that intention to use technology to enhance your relationship. These days, there is no excuse when it has to do with communication.
Absolutely.
Some people say, I'm not a good communicator. I'm not good with communication. You are in a relationship with someone. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you've not taken your phone to call them to know how they are doing. That's not right. You're not using technology to enhance your. It's not just intimate relationship. Maybe family members, friends, people that are close to you. You can use this opportunity, give them a call, know how they are doing, check on someone, support them, be that support network that someone can rely on. That's the good thing about technology.
Absolutely. I know we're so busy these days. Sometimes I get so busy that I actually schedule my calls. Like I put it as my reminder on my phone. And that's one thing. Technology, it helps us to organize ourselves. It helps us to prioritize what we're doing. And there's an app even that tells us how much we spent on different apps and different things on social media, which is great. So I would say, use technology effectively. And maybe you're just listening to us right now. What are the things that you've done with your technology, with your devices? Tell us, share with us. We want to learn. How have you maximized technology to your own full advantage? Because this is something I think that a lot of relationships are grappling with, the whole impact, and they're looking at it from a negative standpoint. But maybe if we spin it around and look at it from a positive standpoint, that is a win.
Definitely.
For everyone, it's a win. Yes.
The other point I want us to bring across is practicing technology etiquette.
Yeah.
Yes.
Digital etiquette.
Yes.
Yeah. Really important.
Very important, because there are ways for every act or every engagement or activity. There are set guidelines. There are principles and values that, will I say, govern how those activities are implemented. Technology or digital platforms are not different. So you need to understand how to engage in the right approach when it has to do with digital platforms.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't even know what to say now, but I think, when we talk about etiquette, like food, we talk about, I don't like the way you chew. I don't like the way you can't be talking and chewing and all of those sort of things. But with technology, I think it's really important that we have an etiquette around it. And this sort of resonates with boundaries around etiquettes. Boundaries around the use of technology. So what do we what's a no-no for us?
There are no-nos.
There are no-nos.
Yes,
there are no-nos. But I think that maybe we can take that on a different conversation, but we'll highlight some of them. No-nos for technology, things you don't really indulge in with the use of technology. And maybe this is where you have this conversation around it. I know people who have been drawn into some sort of activities that are really, really out there. Like, that you're not supposed to be on this platform, but you were lured into it, and it is just your device. And it's like, click this and click this and click this. And all of a sudden you're hooked. And you now begin to, that becomes your escape, rather than having like a physical intimacy with your spouse. You're now, it's like an escape to other means of having intimacy. Now, it is really important that you talk about this, and it's about having a clean space. Making sure that the use of your technology is clean. It's decent, and it's really, really important. Why do we use it? Where is our off limits? Exactly, really, really important, because that's why I said that this is like an overlap with the boundaries. Because when you have etiquette, it's about what are our manners, what do we do, how do we conduct ourselves, what do we say, how do you engage when you have a random person slide into your inbox and begin to have some sort of conversation with you. Do you nip it in the bud, or do you explore?
Yeah.
And it's all of that, because sometimes in the beat to explore, you get hooked into something else and hooked into something else. But I think these are some practical, practical aspect that I think I need to highlight.
Definitely, leaning on what you just said, I think we should also, in looking at etiquette, we should also be mindful of the feeling and the needs of our spouse or our partner, because obviously you don't do it, you don't use technology just for yourself. You have to be conscious of whatever you're posting, whatever you're looking at, how does it impact on the other person.
Absolutely.
So that's really important.
I think I cannot but emphasize that point, because sometimes people feel, he's my husband, he's my wife, they are my children, I just go ahead and post. But sometimes they may not be comfortable with you doing that. And this is something to really have, because I've seen instances where technology has caused lots of crisis in a relationship, and you really need to talk about, what is she comfortable with, what is he comfortable with? Is it okay to post his picture? Is it, it's about the manners. Could I, here's a picture I want to post, and this is what the post is about, is it okay with you? I think it's nice, it's decent to have that conversation, because you might be an out there kind of person, but your other half might not be the out there kind of person. And they may not want you to present yourself in a certain way. And it's all of that. So that's really important to have that conversation. I think it's a lot to unpack, but definitely something to bear in mind.
So the other thing we want to talk about is just like the way we do food.
Yeah, gluttony.
Yes, not necessarily. We fast on food sometimes.
Take breaks.
Can you take technology break?
Yeah,
it's really important, because sometimes you're so many things happening in your head all at the same time, buzzing. Sometimes it could even impact on our mental well-being.
Absolutely.
The news, the issues going on. Sometimes people are even bullied on social media.
Yeah.
So it might be you taking a break because you want to spend quality time with your spouse or your partner or someone you're close to.
Yeah.
But you taking a break just for yourself, because you want your sanity
to detox.
You want to do certain things. There are things you want to achieve, and those are distractions.
I feel you wouldn't have said this any better, because a lot of marital crisis and issues come from what people binge on from social media. So you find a lot of people binging on, this is how we do it in our relationship, this is this, da, 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 and putting out all of that. And you want to take all of that and translate it into your own relationship. That could be really toxic. It could be a lot to take in. And I feel that people should be taking regular breaks, and not just taking regular breaks, try to sift where you go, what you do, what you binge on, what where you kind of go and drink from. It's really important, because everybody seems to be an expert these days. Everybody's putting lots of stuff on social media, and you need to understand and have a boundary. How would this have an impact on myself, and also an impact on my relationship? So you really need to take regular breaks from social media. The world will not collapse. The world will not stop. It's good for your mental health, because even for certain people, they take, they see their image as what is being projected on social media. Oh, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. I think I'm a bit slow. My relationship is not on point. And then you're projecting all of that energy that could have a huge impact on your relationship.
Definitely.
And I don't know what you think, guys. You're listening to us. I don't know what your thoughts are. Just let us know, because this for us, with the number of counseling sessions that we've done, the people that we've interacted with, we see that these are some of the potential pitfalls that people encounter in their relationship as it has to do with technology.
Yes. So moving away from that, we want to look at another issue, which is addressing jealousy and trust issues. Now, look at it this way. Sometimes someone might think that, okay, my spouse is engaging so much with other people on social media, having exactly,
he has
getting this, and if you're not careful, it could lead to trust issues.
That's
true. It could lead to jealousy. You're thinking maybe something is going on there.
Absolutely.
It doesn't also mean that sometimes people don't do some things and try to hide it, because like we talked about escape route using technology. Some people have intimate relationships, emotional connections via social media. Which is an issue. So once you understand that there is this issue around trust, issue around jealousy, things are not the way they need to be because of your engagement using social media technology, I think it's high time you came together as a spouse or as a couple and discuss the way forward.
I think this is big.
Yes.
I mean, we may not be able to touch the depth of these particular points around how this can have issue, bring about trust issues and jealousy. And I've seen this time and time again, where people are so close to people on social media much more than they are close to the people that they actually live with
day to day, yeah.
On a day-to-day basis. The people they call their better half, someone who is close to them. And I think it's all around, it kind of borders on priority and how you set your priorities.
And values as
and
well.
your values, yes. And I think there is a point for values and principles. And something for you to think about. If your significant other do not feel comfortable about you being too invested in what you do on social media, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any difference whether you are saving the world. At that point, you have to stop, retrace your step, rebuild, and then you can come back. Because your social media presence or social media following should not have an impact on your relationship.
Not just social media, using communication. To interact with people. You're always on phone with someone.
Yeah.
You're hiding your calls. You don't want them to know who you're talking to. And you claim nothing is going on.
Yeah.
That in itself could lead to trust issues.
Yeah.
That's why you need to have a sit-down conversation with your spouse to address some of these issues. Not just your spouse, someone you're close to, someone you want to, you're in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
It's really, really important. So deal with those issues and don't let technology be that bridge that would, divide the two of you.
The both of you, yeah. And, just thinking about this, do you know, and this is a very interesting point, guys, very interesting. Do you know that there are people who actually live in the same house, but they communicate using social media?
Wow.
Using technology.
On a good way. Is it for good or I
don't know how they do it, but literally, someone is in the other room, the other person is in the other room, and when you need something, you're like texting. This is not like
that could be an enhancement.
I know, no, it's a bit spooky because I can't be in the same house.
Yeah,
like it's not like a castle, like in the same house with my husband, and I'm texting him because I don't want to speak to him.
Okay,
so we become
so
reliant on texting and voice noting and memojing and all of that, and I think this is where it is really important, and it kind of highlights my
but before you go to that,
you took it away.
Yeah, but it's also good to do that
it's
a creative way of enhancing the relationship.
Don't get me wrong, I said they rely more on it. And this is where you have to prioritize face-to-face communication, because some people get used to it. It's great, but don't over rely on that. It's fantastic to do that if you want to be creative and do other things. Fab. But prioritize your face-to-face communication. There is nothing actually as good and solid as actually feeling an actual human being and talking to an actual human being and looking into the eyes of an. Are you shy?
No, I can't be shy. You're my wife.
Okay, looking into the eyes of an actual human being and having a tete-a-tete.
Yes, that's true. I think it's more relevant to people who want to engage in a serious relationship that will lead into marriage.
Yeah.
You've been talking to this person on the phone, relating with this person on social media, but you've not really had one-to-one conversation, face-to-face conversation with the person. Yes, it's good to engage via different platforms, but that should not take away face-to-face interaction. Make out time to go and visit that person, because in the physical environment of whoever you're visiting, there are things, there are pointers you're going to get. Communication is not just verbal, it's also non-verbal. Absolutely. You can feel their expression, see their environment, see how they relate with you on face-to-face basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. There's so much we have unpacked today. And please, guys, let me know what you think. How can technology have an impact in one's relationship? Now, the other thing I want to say, and I think this is really important, is around how much you share on social media. Sometimes people put their whole lives on social media. They, if you want to get to know some people, just go on their social media account. You get to know everything they've done from, the time they had breakfast to the time they had dinner and the time they went to bed. Some people are like they can share so much on social media. And I think the next point I want to say is avoid oversharing. It's social media. And this also aligns with the first point around boundaries. You cannot put every single thing you do on social media. It's great, to inspire people. And I always ask myself, when I post something, what's the intent? Why am I doing this? I don't know what your thoughts are on
I
this.
would only say share what is necessary, what is relevant, and what is okay with your better half. There has to be an agreement to that, and share what will not put your life and those of the people around you or who love you at risk.
Yeah.
There are security posts, there are security risks around certain posts.
Yeah.
So people shouldn't know everything about you via social media.
Yeah, because I want to meet you. I want to get to meet you in person, and that's what whoever is looking at that social media is like. I get to know. So what's more to this person? What's more to this individual?
That's even different.
Yeah.
The main point here is that social media is advertising yourself to the world. So whatever you would not broadcast to the world, keep it to yourself. Absolutely. And everything should not be open there. There is a difference between private life, public life.
Absolutely.
It doesn't mean that your private life and your public life should not align in terms of values, principles, and all of those. But then present yourself in the right way. Don't overshare.
Yeah.
Share what is necessary, what is relevant, what is right.
And what would not in danger or put you guys at risk.
Exactly.
Really important. And I would say less is more. We hear that cliche all the time, less is more, less is more. But it's I cannot overemphasize that, less is more. Less is more. And some people might be listening to this and they have that struggle. Some people are glued to their phone. Some people don't know what to do. And some people have tried to detox, themselves and all of that. And I say, you're not alone because, at some point, some people struggle with these. And this is where you don't have to be shy about it. You need to reach out to someone.
Definitely, because as we've talked about some of these points, I will tell you there are people who are addicted at the moment to their phones, to their TV, to their social media platforms. They cannot do without it. They feel vulnerable, they feel empty, they feel like no one cares about them if they're not on social media. And what feedback they receive from social media, it also impacts the way they feel about themselves. But I want to let you know that even when you've tried, and now it's becoming a point of conflict in your marriage, because every time he or she is complaining, you're always on your phone, you're always on social media, can you reduce the extent? If it's becoming a serious point of conflict and you don't know what to do, I think one of the things you need to do is to seek professional help.
Yeah, do.
Seek professional help, because we are happy to help. It doesn't mean that we have the perfect answer, but we can guide you to open you up to understand the things you can do to minimize the impact of this kind of addiction. And sometimes this addiction could lead to other addictions.
Absolutely.
Addictions like pornography, because you've been on the platform so much that now you're clicking and you've opened up other gateways in order to fill the vacuum that you feel in your heart. But we know that some of these things cannot fill the emptiness in your heart.
Absolutely.
There is no nothing you can replace, or nothing can replace the value of heart-to-heart intimacy with someone, and then nothing can replace the place of God in the heart of anyone. So don't make social media, don't make technology your number one priority.
Absolutely.
Especially if you're in a marital relationship. Your wife or your husband is still your number one priority.
Yeah, still your number one priority. And I know we've shared a lot. We've shared a lot today, and I don't want to be like giving you information overload or all of that. But I don't know how many of these resonates with you. And I'm more than happy to, we are more than happy to hear from you. To know, how has this impacted? If you want to share a story, fantastic. That will even drive home the point more. So please do share with us. And if you find this of value to someone and you feel someone is going to be, someone's going to gain something from this, share this. It's free. Just share it with someone. And please, if you forgot to hit the subscribe button and it's your first time being on this platform, please do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. And to all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you join our conversation today. So I would say so far, I don't know if you have any few words.
I just wanted to say until our next episode, it's always a joy to have you.
Absolutely.
Goodbye.
It's goodbye.